There are 4 primary tests we use to measure the relative strength and stamina in our range of motion clients, and those following our online range of motion individualized programming. These 4 tests are a great overview not only of the strength, the relative strength of these individuals, that is their ability to lift their own body weight with their upper body for a small number of reps, but also the relative stamina, the ability to do these same sort of movements for a higher number of reps, which is testing the stamina of those muscles. The first of our tests is a max bar dip. This is an upper body pressing dominant movement, and the athlete or the individual will complete a dip with as much added weight as they can, or with a small amount of assistance as they can. Now, if they're adding weight, what we will then do is take their body weight, let's say they weigh 80 kilos, add to that the amount of weight they've added, let's call that 20 kilos, to give them a 100 kilo score on this test. If they're not able to do it with added weight, then we will use some form of band assistance, and we have a calculation which allows us to ascertain how much assistance that band is giving them. So if we have that same 80 kilo individual and we've been able to establish that that band is giving 20 kilos worth of assistance, their score then becomes 60. So that is the first of the 4 tests. 5 minutes after that first test is complete, the second test begins. And basically this is a stamina test. And this is max unbroken reps of this bar dip in 60 seconds. And this is to be completed at 70% of that individual's max. So for the individual who weighs 80 kilos and lifted an extra 20 for a score of 100, they would complete this at 70 kilos. Now, because that is less than their body weight, we have been able to establish what band they should use to complete that test at 70%. By the same token, if that individual has used band assistance to find their 1 rep max, we have an equation which allows us to calculate how much extra band assistance they need to be able to perform that same movement at 70% for them. And again, they do a 60-second test to find their relative stamina. Then, as soon as they've completed that test, they will take the number of repetitions they've completed, they will multiply that by the load they were lifting, and that will give a score. And it will give a score in the hundreds of kilos, maybe over 1,000 kilos, which is then how much work they have done within that 60-second time. Our third test is very similar to the first, but this is now for a strict chest to bar pull-up. Again, either added weight or a bit of band assistance. 5 minutes after that test is complete, they will then go into 60 seconds of unbroken chest to bar pull-ups, again at 70% of their max. Now, for those individuals who are using a band to find that 70% of their max, we have the band set up horizontally as opposed to vertically looped around the bar. And this allows a constant level of assistance throughout the entire repetition and just starts to look after the shoulders, the scapula or shoulder blade stability, and is a little bit more conducive to the strength curve that we see through upper body pulling based movements. So those 4 tests, testing upper body relative strength in the dip, upper body relative stamina in the 60-second dips, upper body pulling relative strength in the strict chest to bar pull-up, and upper body pulling relative stamina in the 60-second pull-ups.